In this video, we will have a quick introduction of Ansible. We'll find out what Ansible is. Ansible is an open source software provisioning, configuration, management, and application deployment tool, enabling infrastructure as code. It runs on many Unix-like systems and can configure both Unix-like systems as well as Microsoft Windows. And that's the exact definition that we have from Wikipedia. So, to put it in a simple words, or I would say my definition, Ansible is basically a free automation tool that can automate IT tasks on local machine where Ansible is running and on remote machine. So anything that you wanted to automate, like a regular daily tasks for your IT needs, you could use Ansible to automate that. All right, so let's visualize it and understand exactly the purpose or how Ansible works. So let's say if you have a Linux machine or a Windows machine and you wanted to configure Apache in it or NTP server or anything that you want to configure. So what do? You log into that machine, SSH into it, and configure it. Beautiful. What if you have two machines? Well, you could do the same thing, log in and configure it. And if you have three machines, again, you could log into the third machine, SSH into it, and configure it. All right, that works in a smaller environment. Now, what if you have three, six, nine, 12, thousands or thousands of machines, for example, in a larger environment? Are you going to log into every single machine if you have to change a configuration on or similar configuration on all of them? No, right? It would be very cumbersome and it will take you a lot of time to log into every single machine and make that change. That's where you create an Ansible server, or that's where the Ansible tool is born. So you set up an Ansible server, which is also known as a control node. You install the Ansible software onto that machine. Then you log into that machine using SSH, the same way you will log into any Linux machine. And then you make the change to a configuration file on that control node and then push that configuration to all the different nodes or make the change to all the configuration of all the machines. See how easy it becomes when you do that through one server? Please note, Ansible is written in Python language, but it does not mean you need Python knowledge to use Ansible because Ansible has provided a very easy language to use to automate your tasks, which we'll cover later on. All right, Ansible can be used to provision system, meaning you could actually build systems from scratch using Ansible. Ansible is also used to configure those systems. Now you have the operating system built, the system is ready. Now you have to configure the system, meaning services or which way or you want your system to work. Once that is done, then you could deploy applications as well. Let's say if you have to install Apache application or SAP application or database on your system, then you could deploy those applications using Ansible. Once those deployed, it doesn't end here. You could manage those systems and applications using Ansible. So if you have to upgrade your system, for example, 6 months from now or after the deployment, then you could use Ansible to do that. Now let's take a look at a few examples of the tasks that can be automated using Ansible. Provisioning, which we already have talked about. You could actually provision your bare metal server, virtualization systems, network devices, storage system, cloud platform. Also, you could do system configuration, as I mentioned. What are the examples of system configurations? Such as updates or upgrades, package installation, service configuration, stop, start, restart of any services that can be done using Ansible. Users and groups. You could create one user on one server, or you could create that same user to multiple servers at the same time. assigning permissions to files and directories. Moving on, you could do application deployment, backups, weekly or monthly system reboots, orchestration. What is orchestration? Orchestration is a way of automating your system step by step in a specific order. So let's take an example of e-commerce. In e-commerce, you have to have application setup, database setup, and web services. So you could actually let the system know through orchestration, and that orchestration wraps around Ansible that it should reboot or restart application services, database services, and then it should start the web services. So everything happens in a certain order. That is an orchestration that you could actually have that within Ansible to handle it. So that's how Ansible works, or a quick overview of Ansible.